Britain is failing its children.
Oh, what am I doing?
A fifth of kids leave primary school without a grasp of basic maths.
I don't really know what 9 times tables, that's all.
This is not stuff that human beings can't do. This is stuff that normal human beings can do and do if they're taught properly.
We've been following one primary school as teachers try to rescue the pupils from potential failure.
We're going to find out how many centimetres in a metre.
And tonight, we discover that maths doesn't add up for many adults either.
3 for £4, you're paying £1.25.
Not 125, because that don't work out. I don't know.
It's summer term 2009 at Barton Hill Primary School in Bristol. The school has been struggling with maths. It's one of 1,600 schools nationally that's failing to meet the standard in mathematics. So Barton Hill has taken drastic action with its final year pupils. They've been trying to cram 6 years of maths into 39 weeks. But many of the children couldn't even do their times tables.
7 times 9 times 9 equals 9, 18, 27, 46, 45, 64, 73, 80, 73. Yeah. 73, 82, yeah, 70. Hang on, 9, 18, 27, 46, 45.
These children are all aged 10 or 11.
64, 73. Oh, what am I doing?
They should have mastered their tables at least a year ago.
"36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 63, eh? What is wrong with me today?
They'll soon be leaving for secondary school. But they just don't know enough maths.
I don't really know what 9 times tables, that's all.
Do you know your 7 times table?
No.
It took Amy almost 2 full minutes to work out 7 times 9. If she'd known her times tables, she'd have done it in seconds. The government requires that all primary pupils do 50 minutes of maths every day. And by age 11, these children should know their multiplication tables up to 10 times 10. But most schools no longer drill kids daily in their tables. Many business leaders say this is a big mistake.
We learnt them by rote, we learnt them competitively. I can remember very clearly the table on the wall in my infant school classroom with the times tables from the 2 times to the 12 times tables, and when you were successfully able to recount them out loud to the class, you got your little gold star on the wall.
Last year, nearly half of the Barton Hill pupils failed to reach the expected standard in maths. The school decided to take action.
I write the math story, you act the real story. Perfect.
At the start of the school year, they brought in an outsider to revolutionise their maths teaching.
I write the math story, you act the real story. I write the math story, you act the real story. Doing 1 cup.
Richard Dunn taught the teachers how to enthuse the kids and help them understand the concepts behind maths.
1,
1, 2, 3, 4.
perfect.
Question 1. How many hundreds are there in 1,000?
But Richard's drive to improve the standard of maths here had to be put on hold while the children prepared for their SATs, the exams which children in England take in the last years of primary school.
They still haven't been trained on how to answer SAT paper. It's just a battle against the clock.
We have got 10 more weeks until SATs, and in that time, you can go up a level, you can improve.
Damn, it's just making my brain go bang.
The children then had to spend 11 weeks drilling for the test. A quarter of the school year was given over to preparing for an exam. And now, test done, they're drained.
I just hate it.
The difficulty is that as far as the children are concerned, SATs often is a signing off period.
With the SATs exams now finished, Richard's back. He's got to start over again, making them excited about maths.
Do you remember I was here quite a long time ago?
Yeah.
And since then, you've been doing SATs. Now, when I last saw you, a lot of you said that you didn't like maths. And I'm just wondering, now you've got the SATs over, do you like maths or do you not like maths?
I like it.
You like it? Well, did you say you did or didn't? You still don't like it, that's fine, that's fine. When there are people who like maths, I think, good, I'll do some more today. When there are people who don't like maths, I think, good, I'll do some more today. Because you see, I want to show you where we were all the time ago when I first came here and what we could be doing now that you finish your SATs. So watch this carefully, please. Doing the SATs is obviously very necessary because it's part of the legal requirement, but it doesn't tackle the essence of maths in the way that I want it to. 2 cups times 3 equals 6 cups.
In some schools, little learning goes on in the final 8 weeks after SATs. The government's accepted there's a problem here. So from next year, they're moving SATs from May to June to avoid precious teaching time being wasted.
No, look at the board. Look at the board.
At Barton Hill, they're already determined to keep the kids learning right to the end.
Ready, steady, go. What are you writing? 3. Done that? Ready, steady, what are you writing? Take it away. I think that keeping it on track is going to be difficult until we get back into it. But we can recover these children in order to make some real progress with all sorts of things before the end of the school year. How much is there here? 4 cups. What are you writing? 4. Got that right? Again, look at the board.
The kids need to learn more in the short time left before secondary school. They just don't know enough.
I think it's enormously disabling for any primary school student to try and go on to secondary school without having achieved some sort of understanding and competence in mathematics.
If they're doing badly at age 11, it is overwhelmingly likely that they will still be doing badly at the age of 15. And if you're doing badly at the age of 15, it's kind of rational to give up, to be perfectly honest, because how are you ever going to catch up if you're way behind at that point?
Accountancy firm KPMG recently produced a report into the impact of numeracy problems.
Something like a quarter of adults surveyed came back with an apparent numeracy skill equivalent to an 11-year-old. And that is a significant proportion of the adult population with an attainment level which I think we'd all regard as being very low.
The problem goes far wider. 75% of the adult population of working age have numeracy skills below the level of a good pass at GCSE. For many, this means they will struggle in daily life.
If you're getting 3 juices for £4,
okay,
or you're getting 2 juices for £3, which works out cheaper per juice?
Is there much in it?
The 3 for £4 is better because the 2 for 3 equals £1.50. And the 3 for 4 is less than that. I don't know how much it is, but it's less than that.
So if it's... Sorry. Sorry, I want to buy how many?
So you're getting an offer of 3 for £4. How much would that work out per juice?
Well, it's 3 for £4, you're paying £1.25.
It's not 1.25 a bit. No, I don't know. Not 1.25 because that don't work out. I don't know.
Sorry, £1.33.
1.60, roughly. Well, less than that. I don't know.
25 would be 75, so you need 30. No, that still ain't right. I don't know. About 33 or something stupid like that. 33.33333. Because it's no, you can't divide it. It's not a number.
£1.33 each.
And how did you get to the answer in the end?
Took a lot of brain power, but I got there in the end.
There's a famous example which is talked about much at the moment about buy one get one free offers, which will, mathematically be the same as 50% off or half price. And I'm not sure that everybody gets, actually, they're all pretty much the same.
We were selling 6 pair of tights for £5.50. Marks and Spencer's were selling 5 pair of tights for £5. And when I started asking people about the values, they said, but Marks and Spencer's are cheaper. I said, why is that? I said, it's only £1 a pair. Because it was easy for them to do it. Doing the 6 into £5.50 they couldn't do.
Are we listening? Yeah. Anybody think what you might use this for?
For measuring the table.
For measuring the table.
Today at Barton Hill, Carol White is teaching measurements.
We use centimetres and metres to measure length.
These 10 and 11-year-olds are about to leave primary school and are still learning how to count litres and centimetres.
How tall?
They should have understood basic measuring like this 4 years ago, age 6.
What do we use centimetres? CM stands for centimetres. M stands for metre. This is 1 metre. This is 1 centimetre. Put a cube on your ruler and tell me how long it is. It's 1. What does that say?
1 centimetre.
So it's 1 centimetre. We're going to find out how many centimetres in a metre. Put these right along there and we'll see how many of these 1 centimetres is going to equal that metre. We're going to have people counting them as they put them on. So, Tiffany, how many have we got so far?
5.
At the beginning of the school year, Tiffany was having problems understanding maths and hated the subject. But things have changed.
9.
Now, how do you feel about maths lessons?
Like I want to jump round and run around the classroom and scream my head off.
Why?
Because I just enjoy maths now.
And is that because you can do some of the maths well?
Yeah.
Where it says 1 litre.
1 litre. There. 2 litres.
In Carol's class, rather than try to teach all the topics on the national curriculum, she's instead concentrated on ensuring that the kids have really understood the basic concepts.
How many do you think millilitres there is in 1 litre?
600, 700, 800, 900, 1 litre.
Right, but what comes after 900?
1000.
And what is 1000?
1,000.
Litre.
1 litre.
Numbers. What comes after 1,000? Okay. How many millilitres is there going to be in 1 litre and half a litre? How many is in 1?
1,000.
And how many is in half?
500.
So how many will be in 1 and a half?
1,500.
Hannah?
I forgot now.
Stop and think. Thinking time.
1,500.
Yes!
I was going to say that's not tricky. That was not tricky. I was going to say
Not if you have thinking time.
So many children finish their education without basic numeracy that employers complain their staff don't know enough. So where schools have failed, business is stepping in. McDonald's, Sainsbury's and Phones for You now provide maths teaching for their staff. Employees can get a national certificate in adult numeracy. It's the equivalent of a grade D at GCSE.
We started a programme a couple of years ago. We called it Skills for Life. It's basic literacy skills and basic numeracy skills. And the maths skills programme, which can last anything up to 6 months, so colleagues can go into it at whatever pace suits them, gives them a GCSE equivalent qualification.
Working in retail, a lot of it's done for you, so you haven't got to worry about, thinking about it.
I know it if I can do it, but off head, I don't. But I can work it out.
Well, I was quite bad at maths at school, and I don't know about her. I think she dropped out in like year 9, so.
Of course we have a right to expect that children leave our schools at whatever age, equipped for life as well as possible. And therefore we must continue to be demanding about that and to be challenging when the record is not good enough. And it isn't good enough on basic maths.
Next, Channel 4 Countdown's Rachel Riley comes to help the kids.
So that means 8 times 7.
Yeah.
Very useful. So that's worked it all out for you.
And the children get a taste of secondary school life.
What we're going to do today, I'm going to try and just
show you a little bit more about maths and show you some of the other sort of things you might be doing when you come up to the academy next year.
With 5 weeks left before these children leave for secondary school, Rachel Riley from Channel 4's Countdown has agreed to come along and help enthuse them about maths.
Target 276.
Okay, let's give Rachel a clap. Okay, well, welcome to Barton Hill.
Thank you very much.
When you were at school, was maths your favourite subject?
Yes, it was.
So you enjoyed maths at school. What was university like, and studying maths at university like?
University is great fun. If you get a chance, go to university. It's the best thing I ever did.
And so you then applied for the job on Countdown.
Yeah.
And do you really enjoy doing it?
Yeah, I absolutely love doing it. It was very nerve-wracking to start with because when I did my maths degree, you might not believe it, but we don't really use numbers at university for maths. So I had to go back again and I had to learn my times tables just like you guys are learning your times tables now. And I was a bit rubbish to start with. But if you keep practicing and practicing, you get really quick.
Now, we've got a bit of a challenge coming up, haven't we?
We have.
There is going to be a competition. That competition is going to be between children and adults.
I want you lot to win, though. I think you can thrash them.
Okay, right, stay up straight, please. A really big thank you. It's really lovely to have someone in school who's so passionate about something, particularly maths. So
thank you.
Give Rachel a big clap.
Rachel's proud of her love of maths, but many British people are proud that they hate it.
People somehow make light of their inability to do maths. It's almost socially acceptable.
People wouldn't say, sorry, I can't read, but they certainly will say, oh, I'm no good at maths.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to go into Miss Edmonds' class. It's a Year 6 group.
Rachel's agreed to work with the children over the next few weeks. But first, she needs to see what they're capable of. She joins Shannon, who started the school year saying she hated maths and has struggled with basic arithmetic.
So you're just working your way through these?
Yeah, I've already done that column, so I'm going to do this one now.
So can you show me how to do that?
Okay, so we do a line.
So what does that mean?
That's like the division method.
Right, okay.
And then we write down 637.
Yeah.
Shannon's maths has improved throughout the year, but she's still heavily reliant on mathematical aids, like this multiplication grid.
We get an 8, and we get another one that says 63. So if we write 56, if we write...
so that means 8 times 7?
Yeah.
Very useful.
So if we write 7 there...
So that's worked it all out for you?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Rather than her working out the sum herself, the grid has effectively given her the answer. It's the equivalent of using a calculator. Businesses complain that the reliance on mathematical aids means that when people enter the workforce, they don't have a proper grasp of numbers.
I don't think the education they've had has basically put them on the right track to enjoy numbers. And I think most of them, I think it's lazy to always pick your calculator up.
Could you use these tables as well?
Sometimes, yeah, but we don't do it usually because we're trying to practice without them.
Ah, that's the next step.
Oh, yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that I had to do my O-level, my GCSE in maths, without a calculator. So I think somewhere along the way we've lost some of those core skills, and I think that does affect people every day in their lives.
How close is 499 to 500?
Very close.
How many away is it? How many do you have to add on to 499 to make 500?
I can't remember now.
If you had a £5 note and you went and you bought something for £4.99, how much money would you get back? Do you know? You don't know.
Rachel's shocked by some pupils' lack of knowledge and their reliance on mathematical aids. She's meeting with Richard Dunn to discuss what the problems are in some schools.
What is going on with the teaching of maths in schools? Why do some of my friends leave and hate it? Why does my mum hate maths?
I think the major reason for hating maths, or saying you hate it, is you've never actually done any.
So, do you think parents should be worried about the way maths is taught to kids at the moment in primary schools?
I think they should be terribly worried. There's a huge emphasis, quite rightly in one sense, on problem solving or applications of maths, or what you and I might call mathematical modelling. This is what I think is wrong. It's an abstract language, and you've got to learn the language.
Definitely.
Very few of our children are given access to the real nature of math, which is abstractions.
Yeah.
I think every child's birthright is to do algebra and to find the thrill of those algebraic relationships.
Some of the kids here, they can't add add ones, never mind fractions. Are you telling me they're going to be able to do algebra?
They're going to be able to do algebra and also add the ones.
Right.
There's going to be a sheer clarity about what add means.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely obvious and used time and time again. And you're going to apply it as much to fractions as you are to x's and y's.
OK, when I'm talking, you are going to be... Right. Because
The teachers at Barton Hill are about to start using Richard's methods to teach the concept of negative numbers. In accordance with national guidelines, negative numbers were introduced to these kids last year. Many are still struggling with the concept. But today, they're going to be stretched and taught how to do simple sums with them.
Right, so if I went outside into my garden, I looked at my garden, sometimes I might look and the garden is flat. So I say that's 0 because there's nothing there. Sometimes I might go outside and I look on my garden and I've got a lump of earth sitting on top. How many lumps of earth can I see? 1. OK, sometimes I might go outside and I notice that there's actually earth missing from the garden. So I would say that that is -1. OK. Right, now this is important, so listen really carefully. If I put that soil from here, my 1 lump of soil, and I go and put it together with my -1, so I'm going to put the soil that I've got from there in there, what do I end up with? Nothing. So 1 and -1 will always be 0. OK, who thinks they understand that -1 and 1 make 0? Good. And you're going to show me that outside. OK. What have I got so far? Right, I'm going to put my card on that so I can see that's -1. Right, OK, I've got -2, so I've got another -1, so I'm going to put that there. And I said I was going to have -3. So how many more do I need?
1 more.
OK, what did I say I was going to do next in my math story? Hands up.
Add 1.
Oh, did I say add 1? OK, what would 1 look like?
1, a pile on top of the...
Good girl, I'm going to show a pile of soil on top. OK, it's on top of the ground, it's 1. So I've got -3 and 1. I want to add them together. So how do I do -3, add 1? Daria?
You need to put the pile on the negative.
Now, is this still -1?
0.
That's gone to 0 because it's flat ground, so I'm going to put that back. So to find the answer, I've got to see what have I got left? -2. So, -3 add 1 equals negative. So I've actually acted out the real story using the soil, and that's helped me to find the answer. Come and get the cards sensibly from the tray when you need them.
This sort of interactive maths teaching is not unique to Richard's approach. The government's primary framework also has suggestions for making maths accessible.
Okay.
And there are other commercial math schemes on the market that schools can use. But once the concept's brought alive, the kids really get it.
We dug 4 holes for -4, and then we filled 3 of them up for add 3, and then we added 1, and then it's flat, so it equals 0.
Right, what about -10 add 5? Hands up.
Is it -5? All you have to do to know that is so you have to visualise the 5 that are piles done, and then you've got 5 left over.
Right, so do you think that actually digging these holes has helped you to get to that point now where you can do these math stories in your head by visualising? Fantastic. OK, right, keep going then, well done.
With the countdown competition approaching, the head teacher has chosen the children who'll be on the team.
I've got Shannon, Abdullah, Bradley, William, Saeed and Emily.
Is it good news or bad news?
Well, I think it's really good news because I would like you to be the children's team.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel excited, but at the same time I feel really scared because I don't want to let down the team, and I'm going to be held responsible if the team loses because I'm probably one of the worst ones here at maths, so...
What do you think? How do you feel about being in the contest?
I feel nervous.
Nervous? If you feel nervous and you've been doing all of this sort of maths for a whole year, imagine what the adults are feeling, because they haven't had the teaching that you've had, have they? No. They are probably going to be even more nervous than you. OK.
Currently, to be a primary school teacher, you need GCSE maths, but only to grade C. Dispatches tested 155 primary teachers from a range of schools across England. Many had poor knowledge of basic mathematics. Just one teacher got all the questions right. The UK is one of very few European countries where maths is not compulsory after the age of 16. Only 10% of those who stay in education carry on with the subject. The UK's Advisory Committee on Mathematics Education would like to see that change.
The years 16 to 18 need some mathematics. Not advanced level, of course everybody's not capable of advanced level, but appropriate mathematics, because otherwise we're sending people into a whole raft of degrees and careers from law to nursing to geography without necessarily the mathematics they need to be able to cope with those subjects and with life.
England has neglected maths criminally. And I really do mean criminally. We are almost unique in the way that we allow the vast majority of our children to effectively abandon mathematics at 15 or 16. And I really think that people should view it as a national scandal.
The members of the kids' team are brushing up on their countdown skills back at home.
Can't I do it that way round?
No.
Why can't I do it that way round?
Because that makes no sense. Because look, it says 8+.
Yeah, but that was
What doesn't make sense?
Both Emily and her dad Stephen are taking part in the competition. He's a single parent and works as a refrigeration engineer. They're doing mock countdown challenges.
At least
1 minus 8 is...
7.
Yeah. No. 8 minus 1 is 7.
8 minus 1 is 7.
You're getting it confused.
How long did you say we had to do this in?
30 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6,
In countdown, contestants are given 6 numbers, and they need to get as close as they can to a randomly selected target number.
605.
Let's get 605. Right.
They can use addition, subtraction, division or multiplication, and can only use each of their numbers once.
Yeah, hey, I beat you. 75. Oh, I've used a 4 twice, haven't I?
That's completely wrong.
I could do it. 8 divided by 2 gives you
Yeah,
a 4.
But you didn't write that down.
Ah, and I've got to actually write it down as well, have I?
I'm gonna beat him. Because I'm better than him, because I had more practice. And I think, because he keeps getting mixed up, I don't think he's got a chance.
Yeah, she's very good, but I've always known she's very good, so...
You're not gonna win. You're just not.
There might be a parent that's actually quite good at maths instead of me.
You never know.
If we're versing Miss Edmonds, we're definitely going to lose. But if we're going to face Simon, we're going to beat him. Maths is my favourite lesson now. Is it? Yay! Countdown has completely changed it. It's made it way more fun. Isn't it? No, actually, Mum.
William and Bradley are both on the team and are practicing at home with William's mum, Sherilyn.
Target number is 755.
Oh, you pain in the bum.
1 out of 6.
She works as a wages clerk at Tesco, so dealing with numbers every day has made her mental maths sharp.
Done it.
You were so quick.
Isn't it? I got 176.
176? I fell out of you.
No, I got 156.
1 plus 2 plus 7 equals 10. Times the 75 is 750. Add the 6 is 756. You then.
William is next to face his mum.
The target number is... You ready?
594. Now I know what Rachel goes through in 30 seconds. Got it. If I beat you, you owe me 50 quid. And you got to do all my housework.
Oh, I already do that, so you're getting no 50 quid as well.
5 times 100 equals 500. Then 9 times 10 equals 90. Add 5 equals 595.
I can't believe it, you beat me. I got 592.
I beat my mum.
I'm going back to school, you could go and do my job.
She's happy that she's got a smart kid.
With the end of term fast approaching, today the Year 6 kids are going to see what the future holds. They're taking a trip to City Academy, Bristol, where most will start after the holidays. It's their first taste of things to come at secondary school.
I can't wait until year 7, because getting to do with sex education. Sex education? Nasty, man. I know. Yeah, but it's going to be funny. You get to see a woman giving birth, she's like, going cross-eyed. Shut up. It's funny, though. She's going cross-eyed. Oh, no. Right, go, man.
The academy is a large school with 1,300 pupils.
I'm feeling a bit nervous. Okay, old man. I'm just scared I'm going to get lost in it.
This is one of the poorest wards in England. The school has seen great improvement since opening in 2003. But still, last year, just 44% of pupils left with grades A to C in GCSE maths. It's below the national average, which is still low at 57%.
Oh, let's have a look at everybody. Let's have everybody sitting up really straight, because today we are going to be so proud that we're becoming part of the City Academy Bristol. That is Bristol's first academy. That is amazing.
After assembly, the Barton Hill children get their first sample of secondary school maths. They're having a class with the head of the subject, Mr. Symes.
What we're going to do today, we're going to look really at what mathematics is, OK? And I'm sure you've all got an idea about what maths is already. And what we're going to be doing throughout the course of the lesson, I'm going to try and just show you a little bit more about maths and show you some of the other sort of things you might be doing when you come up to the academy next year. What I'd like you to do is just to write down, in your own words, what you think maths is. OK? When you've done it, just come and stick your post-it up on this board, OK, just around what you think maths is. They say what they think. They just seem to have a very positive image of it, and some of the things they wrote on the post-its, like, I love maths and things like that. You done algebra before, any of you?
Yeah.
Mr. Symes is particularly impressed by the Barton Hill pupils and their enjoyment of maths.
They seem to link to the various curriculum areas very quickly. So when I was asking them, OK, what maths are you using? They were listing them off like fractions, halving, area, multiplication. And they seem very confident in that, which is actually quite unusual. And it's something that I don't often see in the younger primary students. I want to know how many squares you've got on that grid, OK? Working together, quickly. I want to know how many 1x1s, how many 2x2s, how many 3x3s...
When Ofsted inspected the academy last year, they commented on the poor attainment of children when they arrived from primary school. They said that students' basic skills in numeracy when they started at 11 did not provide a solid platform for future learning.
Whilst they can access the maths that we do at secondary school without perhaps knowing all their times tables, if they have a very good firm understanding of their times tables and multiplication, division, subtraction, they've got a much better chance of really engaging and moving on.
Back at Barton Hill, it's time to see how much the kids have really learned. Rachel Riley has returned to host the Kids versus Adults Countdown competition. The parents and relatives making up the adults team are Tiffany's gran, Abdullah's dad, Emily's dad, and Bradley's uncle. Outside in the corridor, the kids are getting some last-minute tips from Rachel.
How do you divide it? How do you know if this is divisible by 3 or something?
If you've got 374, you add the 3 and the 7 and the 4. And if that number that you get is a multiple of 3, then it's divisible by 3.
It's about doing it in a different context, isn't it? In a contest, and it's very brave of them. Very brave.
Right, is everyone ready for the Barton Hill Maths Challenge? Yeah, kids versus adults. Who do you think is going to win? Kids!
The contestants get 6 numbers. They can use each number only once. The aim is to get as close as they can to a randomly selected target number using any combination of addition, subtraction, division, or multiplication.
6 and another 10. The target is 863. And the 30 seconds begins now. Right, so I'm going to go to the adults first. What are you going to declare?
865.
865. And what about the kids?
863.
863, brilliant. Should we hear the adults version first?
10 times 75, 750. 5 times 10, 50.
5 times the other 10 is 50.
Yeah, I've got the number.
The kids in growing in confidence, kids.
75 add 10.
75 add 10 is 85.
Times it by 10.
Times it by 10 is 850.
7 add 6 is 13.
7 add 6 is 13. And add it on. Brilliant, Saeed. Absolutely perfect. So that's 1-0 to the kids. You're winning. Yay! Another 8. 967. Time's up. Adults, how did we do this time?
850.
850 for Stephen, so that's 27 away from the target. Any of the other adults got any closer?
965.
I got 950.
How many?
950.
950. So the adults get that one.
Next, will 9 months of intensive mathematics take the kids to victory?
So it's 1 apiece, even Stevens. So it's the kids' choice, tactical choice. What are you going to choose? 6 small. Oh, very brave.
It's 10 minutes into the Barton Hill Countdown contest, with the kids facing their teachers and relatives.
And 3. So let's have a target of 566. So you've got 30 seconds. Ready? Start the clock.
So far, it's 1-1. The kids are proving that with good teaching, they can do well at maths.
That was a really tough one.
I got 580.
What did you get, Shannon?
580.
580? Have the adults got anything to declare? No. No, not inside the 30 seconds. So I think the kids get another point for that one. Right, okay, the pressure's really on here, parents, to get some points. So, 246.
Head teacher Simon was worried before the competition that his own maths was not very good.
Something tells me Simon might have got it.
Yeah, I've got it.
And Emily's got 246 as well. Brilliant. Should we make Simon perform first? Put him under pressure.
Oh, God, I hit him right now.
Pressure's on, Simon.
2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10.
10, 24. No, I haven't actually.
Oh.
I've got an extra 5.
To win the game, Emily, add them together for 41.
And then times it by 6.
And times it by 6 for 246. So now we're going to have a quick fire buzzer round. You ready, kids? What is 1/3 divided by 1/6? Emily, 2! How many metres are there in 3.8 kilometres?
3,800.
Yeah! Too quick! 35 multiplied by 7.
205.
Oh, that's not correct.
245.
245 is the right answer. Well done, Saeed.
That's just not fair, is it?
The kids are now so fast, the adults haven't got a chance.
This is a tough one. You might want to write this one down. What is -6 take away -4 add 2?
-8.
No.
-4.
No, it's not right. Keep going. Adults? It's not 8, I'm afraid.
-12.
Not -12.
0.
0! Brilliant! 0 is the answer. Well done, Emily. Well done. That was brilliant. Well done, kids.
After a year of intensive maths, the kids had comprehensively beaten the adults.
Amazing, we won!
I thought they were going to win. I thought they might surprise themselves against the adults, and I didn't think they'd do that well. But that was brilliant.
The children's confidence is transformed and their math skills much improved. But how does their performance translate into results? The school is about to find out how the kids did in their SATs, the national assessment tests they took back in May. SATs are supposed to assess the standard of schools, not individual kids. So Barton Hill will itself be judged on the results. The children can score between level 2 and level 5, but the expected standard for a child of this age is level 4. Anything below that's considered by government to be a failure to make the grade. So, has the big push on improving maths worked?
Yeah, we have. We've got our results, so we can look at and see how the children have done. Emily, she's done really well. Lots and lots of progress. And she's got level 5, which we're really pleased about.
At the start of the year, Emily was at level 4, the required standard. But she had gaps in her knowledge and struggled with certain kinds of maths. Now at level 5, her skills are advanced for her age.
Shannon's got level 3. Shannon was one of the children who said she hated maths. And then I think when we got into revision, she really started to switch off.
Shannon started the year with a low level 3. She's not reached the grade 4 expected of an 11-year-old. But the school's new approach has helped her confidence in maths to grow.
So we have to bring across those extra 3.
Brilliant.
Bring them over here to make 38.
Sharika, we were very worried about Sharika. And she was only level 2 in September, and she's got level 4. So she's done really well. That's really fantastic progress.
Sharika started at level 2, the standard expected of a 7-year-old.
How are you working that out?
1 add 1 is 2, and 4 and 2 is 6. So I done 1 out of 1, 6.
She's made 4 years progress in just 1 year. A major achievement she shared with just one other child.
These are the children who Carol White has been teaching really intensively over the year.
Carol's class focused on taking the children very slowly back through the basics until they had a clear grasp of the building blocks. Tiffany was one of the ones who really benefited from this approach.
Tiffany, how many have we got so far?
5.
So when it came to SATs, how did Tiffany do?
Tiffany, she was only a level 2 when she started year 6, and she's got right up to level 3, so she's gone up a whole level, which is fantastic for Tiffany. She's done really well. So I think it's been particularly successful with the children who've struggled with maths and those children who needed a bit more confidence about actually having a go.
Overall, 57% of children achieved level 4. The previous year's figure was 53%. Not a huge improvement on the face of it, but that's not the whole story. In the previous year, a fifth of children left Barton Hill with level 2. That's the standard expected of a 7-year-old. At that level, a child would struggle at secondary school. This year, every child achieved the level of at least a 9-year-old. That means they've all got a chance of coping at secondary school if they get strong teaching in their first year.
What I'm interested in is the progress that the children have made. And if children are behind where they're supposed to be, what is it that we do as a school that accelerates their learning so that when they go to secondary school, they're in a really confident position to cope with the secondary school curriculum?
If elected, the Conservatives have pledged that they would move SATs to the first year of secondary school. The government intends to keep the exams, but is introducing a system of teacher assessments to supplement them. To help those who are struggling with maths, the government is backing a scheme to give one-to-one tuition to low-achieving 7-year-olds. It's only in its second year, but early results are looking promising. But many academics and business leaders say that more must be done to improve primary teaching.
Primary school is completely vital. If they don't do well, they don't get to the point that they really need to. It's, you know, it's sort of like wandering through life with great heavy weights around your ankles.
It's extraordinary that people can continue through life simply seeing numbers as a sort of blur. And I would have thought as disabling as somebody who leaves primary school not able to read.
I think you do have to rewind and say, let's actually get ourselves to a place that when primary school children leave, they have that basic grounding.
OK, right, let's have magnet eyes, hands in your lap.
At Barton Hill, the new approach in maths has been such a success, they're rolling it out across the school.
Get ready. 2 cups. Add 3 cups. 2
and 3 equals 5.
As a whole, last year I feel was a really positive year. I watched children change their attitude to maths as a subject. And there's a sense that children in school are enjoying it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was in a year 1 class and every single child was engaged and they were really engrossed with what was going on with that lesson.
The Year 6 kids are leaving Barton Hill. They've been given a chance to succeed. But the country has failed 30,000 others who left their primary schools in July last year without even the most basic math skills, simply because they were never taught properly.